Dr. Morgan, and this is a special episode. I'm going to do a reflection about the past and just where I'm at now. Pretty amazing growth that has happened for me over the last 5 years, and I think it's really important to reflect on it, and I think a lot of you can relate to this. So we're going to get vulnerable. Also, August is my birthday month, August 17th. Shout out anybody else who has a birthday on August 17th or my fellow Leos. I'm always amazed at how many people in my circle are also Leos. There's like a high number. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you are Leos, but if not, you're cool too. Anyways, I'm excited. I was thinking about this episode today because I was having this moment of, whoa, I've been here before, but this time I'm handling it differently. When you do enough personal growth and you've worked on yourself enough and you've been on the healing journey, you realize that situations, people, things come back to you and you end up having a totally different outcome, not because the people are different, the situations are different, but because you are different. And my friends, I am happy to say that I am much different than I was 5 years ago. So let's just jump into it, shall we? So 5 years ago, 2016, August, and I was in San Diego and I was in my internship. I had just completed my doctoral degree and I was doing the internship, which is what is required in order to become licensed. It's so many hoops. Anyways, I was doing that in San Diego. And what ended up happening is I wanted to go celebrate my birthday in Miami because I've always loved Miami. I don't know about you all. We all have those places that just kind of speak to us. And they're not places we want to live necessarily, but they're places that kind of honor a part of ourselves where it's like, ooh, I like spending time here. This is where I get to have fun and be carefree and be playful, right? And I don't want to live there, but it really speaks to me. And Miami's kind of always been that place for me. So I'm in San Diego. Definitely don't know how I financially afforded this, but I end up planning this trip to Miami for my birthday. And I was in a relationship at the time that I was showing up as anxiously attached and also avoidantly attached. Hello, disorganized attachment. And my partner was clearly avoidantly attached. This is someone who had been in some relationships and had actually just had one that ended 3 months prior to us getting together. And he had been rejected by that person. She was supposed to move with him to San Diego and she decided not to. And he was going through some stuff and I was going through some stuff. And the two of us together was toxic. Were we bad people? No. But the way that we both showed up in a relationship was really unhealthy. It ended up becoming codependent. It ended up becoming this cycle of me constantly seeking reassurance, constantly feeding into the narrative of this person will leave me, I'm not good enough. And that was confirmed by him withholding, by him being critical, by him being judgmental of me, judging my friends, my family, etc. So some elements of narcissistic traits, although I would not identify him as a narcissist. And we were in this terrible cycle of I need reassurance. He pulls away. We become codependent. And I had wrapped up my self-worth in his opinion of me and if he wanted to hang out. And I know that I was taking up so much of his time, and I was taking, like, any time I wasn't doing my internship, I was with him. And it was just this horrible energy sucking thing. And right before the birthday trip, I had and this is so funny. This always happens before trips. If there's something you've been avoiding or you like can't speak about it, sometimes we'll feel more comfortable sharing something right before we're leaving because then we won't have to stay and deal with it. So sometimes people will drop bombs on you right before they're headed on vacation or right before they're going to be gone. So anyways, just a pattern I've noticed in human behavior and something I've done. So right before I leave, I tell him, we've been together for over a year. This is really unhealthy. And at that point, I still had this thing about saying I love you. I love you was like, if I can just get someone to say that to me verbally. I was a huge words of affirmation person, still am, but not to that same level that I once was. I would think if I could just get someone to say that, then I know I'm safe in a relationship. And this stems from things from my childhood, things from one of my very first relationships where I dated someone for 3 years who did not believe in saying I love you. It was like a moral, ethical thing, clearly avoidantly attached. That's a whole other podcast episode. But anyways, I was at this point where I had been saying it to him for 6 months, to my partner in San Diego, right? And he hadn't said it back. So right before I'm leaving, I say, look, I feel this way about you. I'm invested. I'm saying I love you, and you're not saying it back to me. That was my communication style, believe it or not, right? And he was taken aback, and we were out to dinner, I remember, and I cried. I was very anxiously attached, and in my mind, we were breaking up, right? I'm catastrophizing all the worst case scenarios. And then the next day, I'm flying out. He's dropping me off at the airport. And he says, I love you, as I'm leaving, as I'm about to get on the plane. Right? And the interesting thing was, keep in mind, I have this disorganized attachment. It actually pissed me off. I was like, oh my gosh, well, he does feel that way, but he hasn't been saying it. And it was just this whole thing, though, for me to think like, oh, this could actually work. That also didn't fit my paradigm. The idea that, oh, maybe he is moving towards secure attachment. Maybe we can get out of this codependent cycle and heal our relationship. That also did not fit my paradigm, right? If I'm used to unavailable people who are hard to date, somebody saying they love me, that they want to work on things, that also made me want to reject him. So I'm going to Miami and I'm feeling like I need to get out of this relationship, right? And I'm there with my really good friend, and we're going out, and I end up flirting with other people, talking with other guys, getting as much male attention as possible. I'm not proud of that. I understand that that was an attachment strategy, that is a protest behavior, right? That's me saying, well, hey, I'm not getting what I need in my relationship. Why don't I just, get some validation, get some self-worth hits from somebody outside of my relationship? And as the other layer to that, oh gosh, I'm sharing so much. I did not plan on getting this detailed. The other layer to that is he had actually cheated on me. And instead of leaving that relationship as I should have, as soon as I knew that that happened, based on the level of cheating that it was, I won't go into that detail. Instead of doing that, I simply wanted to retaliate, right? And yeah. So anyways, that was 2016, Miami. And holy cow, I can tell you this, that entire dynamic and reflecting on all of that as I got home. And by the way, I was completely honest with him about everything. And we ended up working through it and we stayed together for a couple more years. And it was totally toxic and not good. But we did work through that little situation. But looking on that now and seeing all of those dynamics, I realize it was me. Many of you have this realization, and then that's when we end up having you do the program, is you go, oh my gosh, there's all these things that are happening to me, but the reason I'm in pain, the reason I'm stuck, the reason I keep dating the same kinds of people over and over again, just with different haircuts, is actually me. So I can look back on that time in my life. I can take total ownership and acknowledge I was unhealthy. I was repeating patterns from my childhood, patterns from my early dating life, and it was not serving me. It was not serving me. It was unhealthy. I was in pain. I was miserable. I was, if I wasn't at work, I was thinking about my relationship. I had no sense of self and no routines and non-negotiables where I was giving to myself, and it was a disaster. Okay. Fast forward to now, having done so much work, so much healing, so much intentional rewiring of my brain, and moving towards becoming securely attached, which is everything that I teach in the E.S.L program, right? Fast forward to now, I am in an amazing relationship, which I haven't talked about very much because I do like to keep some level of privacy. But here's the deal. I'm going to Miami for my birthday, and I'm meeting a girlfriend, and I know 100% that my partner and I honor each other, respect each other, trust each other. I know 100% where I stand with him, and I know where he stands with me. We are invested in our relationship. There is a level of security that I've never had before. I've had good relationships, securely attached relationships, but not at the level that this one is. And I can go knowing that I will enjoy that time. It will be so much fun, and that there's no need for me to act out any of my unresolved relationship dynamics. There is zero drama. There is simply the reality that I'm going to get to go and have a great time with my girlfriends, right? And I was thinking about how that feels so good, because sometimes what happens is we can have so much drama in our dating life, and it can take so much energy from us that we're not able to intentionally create the excitement and the joy that we want to have in our lives, because our energy is so consumed by our relationship. So 5 years later, I get to go to Miami and have the kind of birthday experience that I always wanted to have right? The type of experience where I'm with people I love, I'm enjoying myself, and yes, my partner will be joining me for part of it. That's another piece, right? I have someone who wants to be included, who wants to be there, who's invested and will do what is necessary to show up and be there with me. And I feel loved, most importantly, by myself, that I know what my needs are. I know what I want. I know what I deserve. I know what I desire. And I know I'm able to communicate it. And I have a completely different life than I did 5 years ago. And I'm incredibly grateful for that. Grateful to myself that I was willing to do the work. And I'm also incredibly grateful that I have this platform, this accidental business, if you will, of helping women do the same thing, make the same changes, completely change your life so that you only have relationships in your life that add value, that help you grow and help you step into that next level of your life without draining your energy, right? Relationship dynamics that are filled with insecurity, lack of trust, cheating, dynamics of scarcity, and I'm not good enough, and oh, we can't talk about what we really want because we might scare each other away. Like those kinds of dynamics are energy draining and they will take away from you. And if you're not careful, if you stay in that place, it will prevent you from ever having the kind of relationship you truly deserve. So as I do this reflection, once again, realizing that, guess what? All those years ago, it really was me who was creating my reality. It wasn't what was happening to me. It was how I handled and reacted to the things that happened. If you're in that place where you're taking ownership and you're saying, well, hey, common denominator is me, I want to encourage you, apply to the program. Let's help you make a big transformation and leave the past in the past. Leave the past in the past. All right. This was a vulnerable share. I hope you appreciated it. If you like this kind of episode, shoot me a DM and let me know, and maybe I'll do more of them. We'll see. And of course, as always, I am wishing you high self-worth and great relationships. I'll talk to you soon.